All right. So, welcome everyone to Voices of the Millennials. Today, you are here with your host. You know what it is. It's Elle de Lyon, aka Elle the Lion. And I'm really excited because today I am joined by an R&B sensation from where I'm from. So if you don't know where I'm from the GTA right here in Toronto. And we are streaming live to 135 countries right now here on Love Bay Online Music, Talk, Afro Beat Radio. And like I said, I'm joined by an R&B sensation today. I'm very excited to have Jamal in the house. He is a music artist, more than a music artist. And today we are going to get to know all about him, all about his breakdowns and how he was able to break through to be the artist that he is today. And then, of course, we want to find out what's next for this artist and see, hopefully, some of us out there, we will be inspired by this story and maybe take our creative journeys a little bit more seriously. Maybe bring ourselves out to the forefront. That's what these elevated conversations are all about, hoping to give you some motivation to elevate yourself to the platforms that you want to be at. All right. So here we are with Jermal. Oh, this way, Jermal. How are you doing, Jermal? Why don't you tell us a little bit about you for folks who don't know who Jermal is?
Yeah, 100%. My name is Jamal. That's Jermal. And I'm an artist from the city of Toronto. I've been doing music for a hot minute, but I guess we'll get into that later. But yeah, it's simple. I'm an artist from the city of Toronto, rooted in R&B and soul. But R&B sensation. I appreciate you for that, though. I really do appreciate you for that. So yeah.
I definitely have to say that because I have been privy to your growth. Like I fortunately have seen you starting out, at the open mics that we
Mhm.
used to go to together. It's my day job, Rise Edutainment, and Jamal always used to come through. And honestly, you're one of the artists that I have to say has grown so much from the first time that I saw you. Must be like 8 years ago
Yeah,
now or
I
something like
appreciate
that.
that. Yeah.
And your voice, your stage presence, everything that you're doing has completely elevated. And I'd love to know a little bit about the journey back then. If you could take
Hmm.
us back to the
Yeah.
first time that you came out to an open mic and really why? Why did you come out to an open mic? What inspired you to even take the stage?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first and foremost, thank you very much for those words. But yeah, what inspired me to take the stage? So growing up, I grew up in a Christian household, right, a church household. So, um, I went to church every Sunday. You get exposed to a particular level of musicianship, particular level of vocalists, and just an appreciation for music, right? And my mother pushed me to, join the choir, and from that, which so I developed that foundation in church. Later on, now, as I got into my late teens and everything, I started to go into open mics. Um, they used to have an open mic at Lionsgate. I don't even think Lionsgate is a thing anymore, but was it Lions Den or Lionsgate there by Kennedy and
Well,
Ellesmere?
yes, I used
Yeah,
to
yeah,
go
yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah.
Wow,
They
wow.
used to have an open mic there. I remember Layla Day used to go there too at that time, and
Wow, shout out
she used to,
Lila Day.
yeah, man, she used to win the thing every week. But again, though, just being around that environment, being on the stage, having those little experiences, then led me over to Rise, right? Which
Mhm.
brother Paul, yeah, he was the one that actually brought me over there, right? Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Ohm Paulo
Om,
Hansen.
yeah, yes, yeah,
Yes.
Paulo
Okay.
Hansi, right? Been my dog since elementary school, right? But
Wow.
maybe maybe like 2, 3 weeks prior to that, I I met Randall, I met
Mhm.
Tony, those guys. I think um, in a friend of ours' basement because I was recording some music. Shout out Garlo. We are over there recording music, and
Virgo.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, shout
So
out.
I met Randall and a lot of those guys just because I guess they were going there for something else, right? But it was just a very quick interaction.
Mhm.
Maybe 2, 3 weeks later, Paul's like, "Yo, I want to bring you to an open mic. I think you would like it." At this time, they're at Scarborough Youth Resource Center in STC.
Mhm.
He's like, "Yo, I think you'd like the spot, man." Went there and loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. And I found Rise to be um, that was the start of that incubation period for me, right? Of me
Right.
just getting the practice, getting that familiarity with performing, right? Learning to read audiences, things of that nature. There are a lot of those fundamental pieces um, that came through me performing at Rise. There are a lot of times I went to Rise and I messed up, forgot lyrics, went flat, went short, right? But it happens, right? And it's one of those spaces that are great for any artist that's beginning, just because of the fact that the audience there, whether or not you may fall flat on your performance sometimes, they still try and pick you back up to say, you know what, might not have been the best performance, but come through again and try it again. And spaces like that are crucial to artists, you know. So, um, yeah, me just going to Rise and going to every Monday, performing whenever I could. And if you remember, I would never do original music. It was always covers I was
Covers.
doing.
Yes.
Yeah, the cover artist, right? Um, but again, just trying to bring warmth, trying to bring love with my voice, with my talents, and Rise. Y'all have given me opportunities to share that gift, um, which later on, helped me to, I guess, get past that imposter syndrome, so to speak, and
Hmm.
and start creating my own music and becoming my own artist, right? Um, and yeah, man, and Rise has always been family to me. It's always been love at the end of the day. So yeah, man, I appreciate y'all, and that's how I started with Rise, man. Literally.
And I'd love to know because you brought up the other type of open mic. So the one
Yeah.
that was going on at Lionsgate, Lions Den, um, what was the audience like there? Like, was
Oh no, that
it
that, that one, yeah. that one was more like Apollo.
oh, they would like
And
be like, get off, like,
maybe not to that extent, but like there's a reason why they call Toronto, or I don't know if they still refer to us as that, but they refer to us as the Screwface capital. There's a reason why, right? So you would go there, and it's very clear. Yo, if they're not feeling you, they make it known. Like, you don't get any cheers. Nobody's saying,
mhm,
"Yo, stay on the stage." Like, they made it very known that if they liked you, they liked you. If they
yeah,
thought you're alright or whatever, they let you know that too, right? Nobody's coming up to you saying, "Yo, bro, that was dope. Do that again," type of thing, right? So it's one of those open mics. Go there prepared. It's not a
not
building
for
block.
practice, like
It's
you're not
not for practice. You should have
okay.
already practiced.
And so, what encouraged you then to continue on this path,
Yeah.
knowing that sometimes you would go out to these other open mics, you weren't receiving like the same love that you would get at Rise? And I agree, Rise is like this special place that the whole purpose of it is to create a safe place for you to
Mm.
continue to express yourself so you can get better.
Yeah.
But what inspired you to keep going? Were there any outside influences other than Rise that said, "Hey, Jamal, keep going on stage, keep
Facts.
trying this"?
Facts. Yeah, 100%. One of the big things was for me with my messaging throughout my entire career, if you will. Anytime I would sing, nobody has ever said, "Yo, Jamal, you suck, bro.
Mhm.
Quit. Don't quit your day job. Stop." It's never been that. So I've always kept that in the back of my mind. There's always been more critiquing. Bro, you're dope, but maybe you could do better here. Bro, you're dope. You should try this type of thing, right? So that's one thing. And another thing too is you know, just aside from my friends, but my business partner, Yao, right?
Mhm.
Shout out Doug. Um, Back in 2018, again, while I was still in that, I know I just like to do music. I know I like to sing, type of thing. That stage. Yeah, he came, had a conversation on the couch, and pretty much said, "Listen, at the end of the day, um, you love music. I love music. I think you're talented. I think you're dope. Um, and yeah, I think you're dope, and we should try this. Like, that was all I needed. All I needed was one person to say, "Hey, man, I don't know how we're gonna do this. I don't know all the answers, but we'll figure it out." And sometimes that's all you need, just that one person, right? And that was it. That was literally it. And from that, I said, "Ah, the hell with it. I'll just keep going forward, and we'll see how far we get." And like I said, the one thing I've always kept in the back of my mind is that nobody has ever told me, "Bro, you suck.
Mhm.
Stop." Right? So other
Do
than
you
that,
think
what
you would
reason?
have
What
stopped
reason?
if someone did? Like,
I don't know. Maybe it might have affected me, especially growing up, not knowing
mhm,
certain things. Maybe it might have affected me, but you know, glory be to God that never happened.
yes.
um, and again, it wasn't like I wasn't taught to sing from younger. I was taught to sing, so it's not like it was something I was just doing. Right? It was
Right.
more of, bro, you have the chops, but just fix up on certain things and just strengthen it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't matter what craft you do. Kobe
Mhm.
Bryant, who is my goat, right?
Yes.
Um, he'll tell you every day that he went to the gym 3 times a day, right?
Yeah.
Um, and he was at one point the greatest player in the league. But that just goes to show you that doesn't matter
What
how great you are, can always continue to build.
Absolutely.
So
I love that. And what it does your like workouts or what does your practice, what did your practice schedule look like to get you from, being a cover artist
mhm.
to being able to now releasing your own tracks? And actually we saw in the chat there that you're releasing two songs on one day. We're going to get a little bit into that
Yeah.
in just a bit, but for you, how do you even prepare for these opportunities? Are you in the studio? Like how many times a week? Like let us know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an array. It's an assortment of different things. Like physical health is obviously important. So I do try to get into the gym, but again, just like with anything else, whether it's your craft, if we're speaking specifically about singing, right, the vocal cords, they're muscles, right. So whether it's your brain, whether it's your biceps or your vocal cords in this case, you got to strengthen them. You got to train them, right. Use proper technique and I'm by all means, like I am by no means a perfect singer, right? There's still areas that I still work on, but
You're
um,
pretty good though. You're
I
pretty
appreciate that. Yeah. So, but I mean though, it's 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 a matter of practice, right? So, and that could be me doing actual vocal training, per
good.
se. That could be me practicing songs that I might not feel comfortable normally singing, or that I normally wouldn't sing, right? And just playing around with my voice, seeing what I can do, what sounds good, what doesn't sound comfortable, right?
Mhm,
Um, there is also the aspect of you know practicing. So even writing, even sometimes if you don't get to an entire song throughout the day, at least try and write a verse. Try and get a
mhm,
melody down. So you're just always practicing. You're always doing something to stay in that element and just stay sharp, right? So
mhm.
um, like yeah, so and that's just it. Just always staying in the element as much as you can and just practicing it, right? Because you'd be surprised once you stop doing something, the rust can build up
So
real quick.
quickly it amounts.
Yeah.
Like
So
very
yeah, but it's just those little things where sometimes it's not necessarily formal practice, right? Like again, you singing your song and you practicing to sing it properly and getting
mhm,
creative with it and trying to sing it in your own way. These are all things that do apply to your performance repertoire, right? As a singer per se. If a note is too high, how do I approach the song to still stay on key, but maybe take a different melodic approach? These are all different things, right? Um, that play a part in the overall performance scheme. So
mhm.
that's really what it is for me. Sometimes it's formal, and other times it's just do what you love and have fun.
Absolutely. And I definitely have seen you having fun. And as you
Uh,
said too, you started out doing covers. What was like that defining moment, or did anything break down, or how did you break through to being able to write your own lyrics?
yeah, I was writing poems a lot in high school, right? You write poems, try and get together, and
Oh, is that
right,
a
yeah, that's literally what it was. But from those poems, they would then turn into songs, right? But I never really like I did a 1-2 song in high school and stuff. Um, but I mean, for the most part, I wasn't really doing music. I just write poems, write. So I knew I could write words and formulate a melody. I knew the structures of songs.
Mhm.
Um, but again, it wasn't probably till I did one song that I re-released, but it was a song called 100. Originally, I did it with Brother Garlo, right?
Okay.
Um, and it
Like
was
a
just
long time ago.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. That back in like 2016, and then
okay.
I redid it and then put it on the first Rhythm and Hues EP. But the reason why I did that was when I had originally done the song and we had this like unmixed version of it. I would let people hear the song. Just tell me what you think. Everybody kept saying, "Yo, the song's really, really good, bro. Like you should. The song's dope, right?"
Hmm.
Um, and to be honest, that was kind of like that real confidence, starter. Where then I started to write and record other music. I mean, that hasn't been released per se. But again, people would gravitate to it, and then you know, I think that the Streets End One was my first song that I ever played on radio. And I tell you this right now. When they played that at the time, it was G98.7. When they played it on G98.7, holy crow! Like I done made it, people. I done
Yes.
made it. I done
But
made
tell
it.
us the real. What does it mean when your song makes it on the radio?
Oh, come on, man, people. Like it's and again, I get it. In 2023, fine, radio doesn't have the same oomph that it used to once have, right? But there's still a standard per se, um, that when you get to radio, because one thing I'm a firm believer of is radio, like professionals, industry heads, yes, they go to TikTok, yes, they go to Instagram and all these other, but they'll still go to radio to find out what is hot, right? Because radio only plays what is hot, period, right? um, well, that's what they keep re-recurring, right? What's hot, but I mean, if you can get your song on radio, that just tells you a few things. I mean, one, you must be doing something right, right? Two,
Mhm.
your mixing and your mastering isn't all that bad, right? And three, you probably should just keep going on with it, right? Keep going on with it. So, I mean, that was when I heard that, and they pulled it up too. I'll never forget it. They played it on a Monday, and they pulled up the song too, right? So,
Like right away, or they like next a couple.
they let maybe the chorus play in the wheel. They let the chorus play maybe the first two lines, and then they wheel up the whole track. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So,
That's a good
um,
sign. They do not wheel tracks that don't,
yeah,
have that.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So,
that's great.
so I mean, it was that you don't. Those are things you don't forget. So, I mean, and again, whether it's local, it could be, tomorrow it could be I'm playing out on the biggest radio station in Germany, right?
Hmm.
Regardless of it, it's just a matter of putting in that time, that quality, um, and even understanding in the back of your mind what would sound good on radio, right? But I mean, yeah, once I got that first play, aside from everything else that I mentioned with people telling me, "Yo, the music's good." Once
Hmm.
you hear that music on the radio, and then they kind of affirm it by pulling it up, it's like, no, man, I must be somewhat good at this. And
Exactly.
from that, it's just been original music.
Okay.
Yeah,
So really it was the affirmation, like once you got on the radio, then it was like, oh, okay, my songs are good enough to keep on writing them myself,
yeah.
kind
I must actually be able to do this. Yeah,
of. And
yeah.
that first song that you wrote, um, I was just wondering, is that song one like that was the song that you released in or wrote in 2016 and then released it? And what year did it make it onto
So,
the?
oh, so no, no. So the song I'm speaking about in specific, "Streets End Part One," that was just
Mhm.
a single that we released, right?
Okay.
That got onto radio. Shoot, 2020 maybe,
Okay.
late 2019, maybe 2020. 100 though was, like I said, was recorded in like 2016 ish, 2016, 2017, and then
Mhm.
Rhythm and Hues one came out in I think 2021. Yeah, so it was a song that was sitting there for like 3 4 years,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and just and again, it was just a matter of re-recording it because again, I had improved vocally, did some minor tweaking to the writing, um, and then re-recorded it. So
Very cool.
yeah.
And I would love to know, like, who are the folks that are around you that are inspiring you with your writing? Like, where do you draw inspiration for your original music now? Is it the people around you, situations?
It's a combination of both. I feel like the generic answer, which is it's a combination of both, right? Obviously, whether it's something I've gone through or a situation that I've seen somebody go through, and my interpretation of it. Then
Mhm.
it's also too, somebody could tell me a story. I'm like, yo, that damn, that sounds like a song, right? And I just try and flip it. Other times too, it's been ideas that are given to me, like I'll use the song "Locomotive," which was the lead single off my first EP. Um, that originally was an idea given to me by my boy,
Mhm.
Yao, saying, "Hey, you should do a song called Locomotive, right? Like the train, right? And kind of play it off of, TTC or something like that, right? Something
Yeah.
along those lines." I was like, "Yeah, locomotive." But then when I was writing it, I came up with local motive, right?
Hmm.
Which was more to talk about, like, what's the motive tonight? We could do something in the
Yeah.
city, right? Um, but again, because when you say locomotive really quickly, it kind of sounds like a locomotive. So if you're watching the video, you see the imagery of the train. I'm on the train a lot, right? It's to kind of bring the two, I guess, the similarities to the two words, right? But it could be something like that where it's just an idea, a name given to me. Um, and sometimes there is a concept given to me, and then I hear the beat and I go completely left with the concept. But that's what it is, man. It's just sometimes it's the beat, and it's nothing. It's an experience I've never heard of.
Hmm.
I've never experienced myself, but it's something you know about in life that people go through, and that in itself might be enough for me to write the song, right? So, I mean, experience comes from anything and everything, and I think you just, as an artist, as a creative, you always got to keep your mind open to that and think of ways to interpret that, right?
Absolutely. And are there any tracks that you have that you'd be willing to share, spill the tea with us, that are from a personal experience,
Yeah,
that talk about, like, our theme here is always talking about how do we turn breakdowns into breakthroughs? How do
yeah,
we find opportunities in opposition? Do you have any tracks that are along those lines, that people should put on their playlist right now? And if there's a story behind it, let us know.
yeah. Shoot, let me see. There's so many of them.
I know. I'm thinking of like 6 of them right now, but I'm
um,
wondering which one will you choose?
I would say you know a good amount of the music actually. Everything from the sadder music. So if you're looking at, since I was talking about Streets End, if you look
Mhm,
at Streets End, for instance, or even the locomotives, right? So um, or I use 100 actually. So Streets End, for instance, um, that song talks about a pivotal point in a relationship, right? Where you're
mhm,
at that breaking point. I'll
mm,
admit I've been there, right? Where you realize that you're being told by the other person that you're not living up to what they expected you to be, right? What you told them you would be, right? And these are things that happen in relationships all the time, where people just throughout time you tend to get comfortable in the relationship, right? And that's where the breakdown starts to get in there, right? But within that song though, there's also, while there's that reflective piece, there's also that piece of, yo, listen, honestly, at the end of the day, I realize where it is I'm going wrong, and this is how I want to move forward with you, right? So it kind of does cover, like, the breakdown and how it is we plan to move forward, right, in
yeah,
this relationship. um and then you have songs like 100, for instance, which that's a song simply, well, my queen, right? I wanted to see her, like, well, at the time, anyways, the girl I was talking to at the time, I wanted to just see her happy, right?
mhm,
I want to see her, um you know aspire to the things that she wants to aspire to, right? And that song was actually written from a place of, actually, yeah, no, 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 I remember, yeah, yeah, I was actually getting cussed out at the time, right?
okay.
No, I was getting cussed out at the time, right? I was getting cussed out. I was getting cussed out. So I got my, yeah, I was getting cussed out at the time, and believe it or not, it's because I'm laughing at the time, right? It's not like a serious, it's more like, oh, you're annoying me type of thing, cussing out. And as I'm writing, I'm just saying, yo, I just want to see you happy. I want to see you reach all of the things that you want to reach in life, and aspire to all of those great things you want to aspire to, right? Which
Mhm,
is it, which is actually, when I think about it now, it's actually kind of a funny way to write a love song, if you will, right? Or appreciative ballad. But yeah, that's how those two songs came about. But I mean, everything, and sometimes songs too that I have, um like Streets and One and Streets and Part Two, for instance, right?
mhm,
those songs are kind of like continuations of each other. But while Streets End One focuses more on the issue. Streets End Two kind of still does talk about the issue, but again, it's more on the let's fix it and move forward type thing, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that's it. To my music, honestly, I just try to tell real stuff because I try not to be too pretty with it. I try to, especially when it comes to the whole love subject, because it's real. Like we go through ups, we go through downs. Anybody that's gonna tell you that they're perfect in the realm of love is lying to you.
Yeah.
Um, and that's just what it is. I'm not afraid to say that I've messed up multiple times when it comes to um, the whole aspect of love. But nonetheless, though, I love hella hard, right? So,
Hmm.
um, and that's it. That's it. So, real
Wow.
music, real
Love it.
music.
Yes. And love, that it comes from a real place. The song that popped into my mind now, I will reveal it. I was
Mm.
thinking a lot about Graydon Hall, just because I
Mm.
actually know where that is in the city. Like
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
there. So that song, and I've heard you talk about like the reasoning behind it.
yeah, yeah.
But I do think that's an amazing track, one that you were able to really take what you've been through, like from your
Hmm.
hood, and turn
Hmm.
it into this like beautiful masterpiece. And I'd love to know like a little bit more about what were you talking about in that song, and
Yeah,
how did you truly become inspired by it to write
yeah.
it?
So long story short is well, not long story short, but I'd gotten to an argument uh with
You
the
be
wife
getting into arguments.
all the
No, it's
time,
okay.
all the
We
time,
always
all the
do. We
time.
all, we all
All
do.
the time. I'm cussing out, right? But no, I got into an argument, and pretty much, so Greater Hall Drive is actually, I guess, there's two spins on it. There's
Hmm.
actual Greater Hall Drive, which is the way it's spelt, but it's actually supposed to be like Greater Hall Drive, as if I'm driving down Greater Hall, right?
Oh.
Because throughout the song, what it is me driving, reflecting about the situation, right? So while I'm in my car and I'm driving down Greater Hall, like a street close to my area, I'm just it's a reflective drive at
Hmm.
night, right? So, and within that drive, I'm able to just reflect on what's going on currently in the relationship, and what's going on around me, right? And you know, with Graydon Hall Drive, Streets End, and everything, even another song I have called "Stay." All those songs are written within the same uh,
Okay.
time frame, if you will, right? So they're kind of just all the same song, kind of just uh, looking at the same situation in different ways, right? And maybe at different stages of the situation. But um, yeah, that's what it is. It's a track that dead ass. I'm not lying to you. If you're going through something, you can sit in your car and be like, "Boy, let
Oh,
me
yeah.
just play this
I
and just
do it.
figure out
I've
what's
done
going on."
it. I've done
Yeah.
it. Like it
So
just, yeah, it just took me back, and it just made me reflect, as you were saying, differently on the situation, like take on different perspectives about what I was going through. And also, I find that listening to other people's situations, it really helps to give like it's almost like you get to take yourself out of your situation and look at it from like a 360 view, and
facts.
just give it a another glance to see like, am I in the right, are
Hmm.
they in the wrong, like
Hmm.
is there a way to move forward? As you were saying, like all of your songs, you try to like have that piece where it's like,
Hmm.
okay, how do we learn from this, how do we grow from this? So
Mine is Greater Hall Drive because she didn't answer the phone when I called at the end, but you know,
well, maybe that's the answer,
that's it.
silence
That's
is
it. That's it. Right. So
and I'd love to know, like, in your music, you're teaching things through from your experience. But are there any gems that you've been dropped along the way that really helped you to either put it into the music or helped you with your career overall, like to be able to be where you are right now? Like
yeah, I
any
mean,
advice or anything?
um, yeah, I mean, like, so I do a lot of my record, well, if not all my recording actually, at Nunu Entertainment Studios,
Hmm.
um, located over at 69 Howden in Scarborough. If you're ever over in the East End, shout
Oh,
out the
what?
dogs.
Let me
Uh,
go. Okay.
yeah, shout out the dogs there, Riley. But yeah, over there though, Riley, who's become one of my mentors, um, the music, right? Just it's I think it's just one of those things about when you're performing your stuff, perform it like you mean it, right?
Mm,
So you can I mean you could sing a song, yeah, but then you can also perform that song, right, and really make people feel the oomph, right? Like
mhm,
he meant that, he meant that. So I think that's been the biggest thing for me. Um, that you know what that, and I'll say being told, not to not to be afraid to step out of that box of regularity or familiarity, right? So
mhm.
for me, like I grew up around 90s and early 2000s R&B music, so you get that sense from me, but it's also a matter of trying to diversify your pen, trying to diversify the sound. Yes, people know you for this, but sometimes you got to hit them a little left to show them, hey, I can do this too, right? So I
Mhm.
think those would be the two biggest ones. Perform it like you meant it every time, right? And just don't be afraid to sometimes just jump out the box and try something a little different.
Mhm.
And
And
I
I
think those
really
things are transferable. Those are transferable across life. Period.
that's true. You can
Yeah.
do that anywhere in life. I love that.
Yeah.
That when the gems are transferable. And I have seen you definitely, as I said, I've seen you grow from the first time that I saw you at open mic. And I think the performance, the last time I saw you live was when we did that show for Dwayne Morgan's
A soul slam.
yes, the Soul
Yeah. Yeah.
Slam.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was blown away by your showmanship, especially because you did some things that I thought, like, wow, you have to have a lot of confidence to do things like that. Like going into the audience, like
Yeah.
touching people, getting them
Yeah.
to look in your eyes. But the first time when I ever saw you perform, like at open mic 8 years ago
Yeah.
or whatever, I would see you, sit on a chair like me, like one
Yeah.
mic in hand.
Yeah.
So I want to know, how did you gain the confidence, or what did you do to
Hmm.
get from like sitting in the chair with one mic to walking out into the crowd, bringing
Yeah.
ladies on stage,
Yeah.
asking them to throw their panties or whatever,
I'm dead.
or they do
um,
because they're just so enthralled in the
yeah.
performance.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, it's again, it's just like with anything. It's confidence, right? The more you work at something, I mean, naturally, the more confident you should be in it, right? And especially in the realm of R&B, um, as a male singer too, you gotta own it. You gotta own it, right? The same way if you're a rapper, right? You gotta own it. There's a particular energy that comes with it, and if you're gonna do your music, right? If you're gonna do your music, actually, you know what? I'm gonna give you one more gem. Actually, that I was
Just give me a
told.
gem. I
Yeah,
want to know, how
a
do you
serious
get on?
gem. A serious gem that I was told is this, and I used to do this before, where before I would start the performance, these little things like if my voice wasn't 100, I might make the disclaimer. Hey guys, before I start, my voice is a little off. Let me tell you something. For all you performers, don't do that. Right?
Yes,
Don't ever do
I
that.
always wonder. I'm like, why are you
Yeah.
telling people
Don't do
this?
that because what it is that I'll tell you why people do that because their confidence is already shot right at that
That's
point. Because in your mind, you're saying my voice is not at 100, so if I crack, I let them know already that hey, I'm sick, so you should expect me to. But
yeah.
while you think you're preparing them for any faults that you may have, all you're doing is diminishing the standard now, right? That you're setting, right? It's better you go there and you try and sing your ass off, right? And if you crack in the process, you crack in the process. At least people can see, you know what? Hey, man, they're trying, right?
Hmm.
And the second thing is um, that I would do is sometimes I would say, hey, man, I need your energy, this and that, and like
Yes.
it's like you're trying to get the energy from the crowd versus you dictating what that energy is going to be. And don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, there's nothing wrong with saying things like if you're doing a cover song, for instance, saying things like, "Hey, yo, listen, I'm gonna do the song. I want to hear that energy. I want to hear that participation from you." Right? That's different versus you saying, "Hey, guys, I need you guys to give me that energy for me to do
Yeah.
this." Right? No. So, um, just with that again, it's like if you spent the time to record the song, you spent time to practice the song, really write the song, and it's coming from a real place. And I mean, again, it's good. People will gravitate towards that, and people, you've seen this, and I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure you've seen this, where somebody is maybe not the greatest, whether the greatest vocalist or the greatest rapper, but their energy, right? Their energy alone will get you to be like, you know what, I rate it. I
Yeah.
rate it just because the energy alone, right? So, um, and that's how I have to go at it. I have to look at it as at the end of the day, I'm 6'3" and I'm R&B singer. So yes, I'm gonna walk up to you, I'm gonna look you dead in your face, and I'm gonna sing. And
Yeah.
sometimes it happens. Some women are receptive. It could be because they're just like, yo, I'm just not feeling like that. It could also be because my man's here,
Yeah.
right? But
It's like,
then,
talk to me after the show.
right? But then you'll have other, but then you have other attendees who like, yo, they're into it, right? They're
Hmm.
looking you dead in your face, saying, "I wish you'd come sing to me right now, and let me show you a thing." So, but at the end of the day, it's just always that confidence. Whether or not you get it, you always have to remain confident with your product, and your product is who you are as an artist and what it is you're bringing to the table musically, right? So, um, and for the times that is successful, trust me, it works out great. It works out great, right? But if there's times that you try and reach out and the girl's not reaching back, oh well, at least it still sound good, right?
Yeah.
And we'll go with that. So, but
Do
that's just
you?
it. Yeah. Hmm?
I was just wondering. Do you remember the first time you ever tried that? Like
Yes,
to
I did.
pitch
Yep.
it? You remember?
Yep.
Okay. How
Yep.
did it go?
Yep.
Please, story
It,
time.
it backfired. It backfired. And I'll tell you this: I'm business. Live if you're watching this. I don't care. You're watching it, okay? So this is back when Rise was at Scarborough Town Center, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't even remember what I was singing. I'm just gonna say, let's say it was Mario, "Let Me Love You." Or something. I don't remember
Okay.
what it was. The point is, that I'm there singing, doing my cover thing, do. And I thought, I'm gonna get to my performance bag. So I looked at Liv. I started singing to Liv, right? I don't even know if I knew Liv, but I didn't know Liv yet, right?
Yeah.
Like that. But I started singing to Liv, and I'm walking towards Liv to be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sing to you." And she gave me the look like, "Boy, you better not come over here," right? She tried to shrink it to her seat a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if she'd ever remember this, but tried to shrink it to her seat. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not doing that again." Um, and
And
I
did
didn't do
you
that
just
for
go like a whoop? Like you just like turned
yeah, you have to take a step back and continue singing, like
and
nothing
you finished
happened.
the performance though.
I did, but I know for a fact everybody saw that. Everybody saw that. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, this man just got ditched by this girl." But
But you know what is
still love.
so great about you sharing that story is that here you are, like how many ever years later, and I'm telling y'all out there, like this man knows how to put on a R&B show. Like I
I
felt like
appreciate that.
I'm watching like like our very own Usher or Chris Brown.
I
Like,
appreciate that.
yeah, honestly, I and from sometimes it just shows you really do have to go through those breakdowns to be able to come back. Like, what made you actually come back? Like, what made you say, I'm still going to do that again?
Oh, well, I mean, it's you know what it is later on with when I started to do my own music, and you see the reception, right? Because again, as you perform more and more and more, you start to see the reception that people have towards you. People will come to you, whether it's right after you perform and people are cheering for you, or you're walking around and people are saying, "Hey, yo, that set was dope," like or they message you on Instagram. Listen, I saw you last night. Like all these little things, right? That will
Mhm.
add to your confidence, right? And I mean, it's just a matter of watching people who have done it on a bigger scale than you, right? How do they do it? So, you mentioned Usher,
Mhm.
another great Libra. Um,
Oh, are
it's
you
it's
a Libra?
oh,
Okay.
come on now,
Libra
come on. But yeah, just watching him, watching how he does things, how he approaches,
season.
even what songs, like the feel of song to do it. Um, you know, just yeah, there's just an energy, a persona that you have to embody, right? And you have to remember that. Yeah, okay. Like, so my real name is Jamal, yes, but when I'm up there, I'm Jamal the artist. So it's not Jamal the guy. Hey Jamal, how you doing? No, no, this is Jamal the artist. That if I'm singing something sexy, best believe this is not a fronting anymore. I'm looking you dead in your face, and
Got you.
I need you to feel that energy, right? If it's a heartbreak thing, I need you to feel that energy. Now, once after I put down the mic and I say, my JERMAL, Jamal Music, blah, 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 and I come off, yeah, now I'm regular Jamal again, right? And now it
Okay.
can be ha ha, he he. But it's that's just what it is. It's just like with anything, man. It's just you got to put that time in, put the work in, and if you know you've done that, go out and haul ass.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Like there's so many artists that, as you said, people that, like for instance, Beyonce, she has like that persona she brings on stage,
Yeah.
Sasha Fierce, and she is Sasha Fierce when she goes up there. She is not Beyonce. Like, and I think that that is so important to impart on our
Hmm.
audience that when you're performing, you truly are taking on a new persona. You're being someone or something different, enhancing what you already got. And
Hmm.
really, as you said, trying to evoke feelings to the crowd because that's what they came out there to do. Like, we wanted all the feels. That's why I came to your concert. I
Facts.
wanted to feel like I wanted to cry or try to get over, an ex lover or something like that through one of
Hmm.
your songs. And
Hmm.
it's, I love that you've shared, your mindset behind it because I don't know if everybody understands that there's a mindset that goes with it. Like what you
Facts.
said, I don't even know if I ever really would have thought that you took on a different persona when you go up there. So that is very, very cool to know. And I'd love to know, like, we're getting close to the end of our time. So
Mm.
before we do that, now that you've done all these things, you've been practicing, even practicing confidence, sometimes getting redirected into other things. Now you're here, and what does here look like for you? What does every day look like for Jamal? Are you working in your craft full time? And if you are there any other like advice that you would give to any artists who are wanting to get there?
Yeah, so me, I can honestly say I'm not at that stage yet where I'm working in it full time, right? So, outside of me being an R&B artist, I work for the city in a crisis support
Yeah,
um,
more than just an artist,
capacity,
y'all.
right? Yeah. So again, outside of music, another passion of mine is just community development, right? And overall
Hmm.
capacity building for people in the community, but more, our young people within the BIPOC community, right?
Hmm.
So um, that's what I do on the outside. But best believe though that I do bring elements of my music and everything, right? So again, I'll work with young people, for instance, that they want to sing.
Hmm.
I don't come out right off the bat and say, "Hey, yo, I sing." Right? I don't do that. Right? In fact, a lot of people that I work with, they won't even know that I sing unless somebody else comes and tells them that.
Oh,
Um,
they don't follow you on Instagram or nothing?
I try to separate the two,
Oh,
but
separate.
yeah, I try to separate the two. But politics. But
Yeah,
that
no,
being,
for real. For
yeah,
real. No, I get about
yeah.
that.
That being said, though, when I'll see young like the youth that I work with, and they'll be like, yeah, I'm a singer or whatever, or I hear them singing a song for their friend to get ready to go into one of the studio programs or something, right?
Mhm.
Um, if there's a coachable moment, of course I'll go in there and I'll coach them, right? And I first be like, who are you? Like, you don't know how to sing. And I'll say, well, maybe you should do it like this, and I'll sing it for them. Oh, wait, you actually do sing, right? Okay,
Mhm.
could you, right? And it's just those little coachable moments. It's not to say that I become a vocal coach now, but it's these little things that where if I could help you because I have experience in this, I try and help them with it. Even with things like music, a lot of young artists just record music and just dash out music like crazy. And
Yeah.
if you mention SoCan, ASCAP, Sound Exchange to them, they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Right? I just
Mhm.
want to put out my music, and I'm like, "There's more to it. There's the actual business side of it, right?" So I even with the business aspect, I'll try and educate them on little things here. First and foremost, get a SoCan. It doesn't cost you anything but your time, right?
Mhm.
Register for it. Just so you could better protect yourself. And I try to tell them about grants. I try to tell them about workshops because the difference between us here, and I'll keep it short. But the
Mhm.
difference between us here, our infrastructure here in Canada versus the States is we have a lot more support financially for the
We do.
arts, right? So there is a plethora of money that every year gets dashed right back into the government's hands because it's being underutilized, right? And it's
Mhm.
money for us to do everything from tours, personal shows, albums, videos, you know, visual arts, whatever you name, it's there, right? So um, I just try to educate them with the things that I've learned, that I've had the opportunity to learn about, and just show them that, right? So, but I mean, yeah, that's just it. I haven't got to the point yet where I could do it full time. You know,
Mhm.
um, Lala of Ooh La La Enterprises, she's working
Yes,
very
yes.
hard to get me to that point. But I mean, For the
And
time
is that
being,
an aspiration of yours? Like,
oh,
would
100%.
would you want to continue working in community development, like as make it to the full-time artist? Like, do you have a dream in mind of how your life would look if it was like the perfect life?
100%. 100%. I mean, for me, I would, yeah, the second I'm making music and it excesses, it makes more than what I make for my 9 to 5. That's enough
You're
for me
out.
to be like, it's off of this, right? Um, I mean that is the goal, right? And I mean whether it's music, whether you're an entrepreneur in a different business industry, the goal is always to make that entrepreneurial thing your 9 to 5, your sole thing, right? That
Yeah.
you do. So I mean, that is a target right now, but no, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Mhm. And when you entered into this game, if you will, did you think about that? Like, were you like, yo, I want to be an R&B star? Like, that's all I want to do? Or did you have other dreams to do other types of work, other than what you're doing now?
I mean, yeah, like for me, like I wouldn't want to be an artist forever, mind you, right? So, um,
Hmm.
yeah, if I had it perfectly, I'd rather be a songwriter, right?
Yeah, I hear you on that.
Um, the songwriters, they get to stay in the background, they get to hear the music sung by everybody, and you get to make all the money without all the fame and foolishness that
True.
comes
No
with it.
touring, like
Yeah, you don't have to do all that, right?
don't
So,
get no
um,
panties in your face, no bras.
hey, that's fine. At least you have the money to take care of yourself, right?
Yes,
You
yes, yes.
want like, so yeah, that was the overall goal. But the artist route, I get it. It's sometimes it's the easier route because it puts you in front of the people for them
That's
to
it.
actually hear what it is you can do, right? And then later on, there's always that option of, if your music hits off well enough and people really dig your catalog, that you've created. I mean, it only makes sense that people would want to work with you and start to have you write music with or for them. So
Exactly. And
okay.
yeah, just hearing you say that, that's kind of what I feel as well. Like the road to becoming a songwriter is definitely like sometimes you have to perform in order for
Yeah,
people to see like that you even have what it takes to work with them to make good music. So
100%.
that's a gem right there. If anybody's interested in songwriting, that sometimes you performing your own writing can help
Yep.
people to know that you can write. I
Facts.
definitely am a product of that as well.
Yep.
Was a writer for a long time at Rise, but just didn't really perform. And nobody knew that I could do stuff until
Yeah.
I actually started performing.
Yeah.
So
There's a
yeah,
number
that
of
is
artists like that. There's a number of them like that. So
so many. And if you're one of those closet artists right now or shadow artists, this might be your sign to get out and, get off the chair, walk into the crowd, go sing into somebody's
yeah.
eyes. I'm going
Yeah.
to try that next time.
Why not? I mean, you're
I'll get
sitting at home
small.
on the couch all day anyway. Get up and do something with your life,
Yes, I
right?
love it. I love it.
So
Come on now. Come on now.
yeah,
And
man.
so, okay.
Uh oh. Uh oh. I know what happened. Something happened. Oh, you still there? Uh oh. What happened? I think we might have had an issue.
Well, Jamal, I'm just going to take it over from here until she comes back. Well, it's been a very great time. What do you measure success right now? Jamal, how do you measure success right now?
We got disconnected. My apologies. The conversation was too good. But before we get out of here today, I do want to give Jamal a chance to let us know what is coming up next for you. I know you have some big shows coming up. You're about to release 2 tracks in one day. And I'd love to know a little bit more about what you are doing right now. Are you able to hear me there? Hmm. Okay, one moment. Gonna try coming back, y'all. All right. All right. So can you hear me now? Okay. So hopefully everyone can hear, and Jamal's gonna let us know what's up next.
Okay. So, I don't know. I guess there's a technical issue, but just well, what's coming up for me next, um, music wise, is as mentioned by Lala in the comments. November. There you are. Okay, November 15th. We have 2 songs, one day, right? Two completely different sounds, and something a little different than what you're normally used to hearing. So one song is called "The Manor." The other one is called "Love and Piano." Um, it'll be 2 songs, one one day. So it's a little something different, a little something different. And yeah, I'm hoping people vibe with it. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier about just stepping outside of that box of familiarity and trying something different. So next performance date is actually this Saturday. So you know what? I should actually let me look this up because I be performing places I don't know where I'm performing half the time. So we got a performance coming up December 4th. Desiree D and Friends. This show will also have Kaje as well, Marcus Aurelius, who you know already. Um, and again, yeah, it's going to be at 25. Is it 25 Baldwin Street? Yes, 25 Baldwin Street. I'm just trying to find a flyer here for you guys. I'm bad with this stuff. I should have known this stuff already. Jeez.
All good. We have Lala in the chat.
Ah, there she is. See,
Yes,
we don't have
you can hear
Lala.
me.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Lala brings
Yay.
it. Lala does this stuff for me, right? So
Right. She's been dropping it all
she's been
long.
dropping like
Yeah,
crazy.
she
So
has amazing PR and management. If y'all out there are looking for somebody, ooh la la entertainment.
Baldwin Street Studios. There we go.
Yes.
So
Let's
it's
go.
November 4th, folks. That's this Saturday. At 7:30 p.m. We'll be at Baldwin Street Studios. That's 25 Baldwin Street. If you go on my Instagram, in my story, the link is there for you to buy tickets. Or if you even go into my bio, it's there for you to buy tickets. It's gonna be a dope show. Like if for those who know Desiree D, I'll say it straight up: dirtiest female keyboardist or pianist in the city. Period. I said
Jeez.
it. Remember, I said it. Kaje,
Drops.
Kaje is another dope female artist. Marcus, again,
Jeez.
come on,
The
right? So
vocalists are coming out. The
come
stars
on.
are aligning here.
That's what I'm
This
saying.
is
So
happening November 4th, Saturday.
this Saturday, 7:30 p.m.
Amazing. All
So
right.
if you're looking for like a little downtown night vibe to bring somebody to, by all means, come through, because it's going to be a dope show.
Blessings. And you've heard his journey and how he got here. It wasn't by accident, it took a lot of practice.
Facts.
And now you are here ready to show out at this show. And I know that you have a lot of big things that are on the horizon for you. We'll
Hmm.
definitely love for you to come back and share with us once you go out there, break some more hearts, make some more people fall in love. We'd love to have you come back, Jamal. You are an amazing. This is why I say that you're an R&B sensation.
I
And if
appreciate you.
anybody hasn't yet, they need to follow you, JERMAL Music, on
Hmm.
Instagram and
TikTok, everything,
TikTok, everything.
Twitter. It's all the same right across the board.
Let's get it. And then
Yeah.
you can we can listen to your music on everything,
Every,
Spotify.
everything, and it's just Jermal, Jermal.
We love it. Thank you
Hmm.
so much for coming through. I really appreciate you. And we are gonna say goodnight. We're at the end of our show, y'all. I know that's how it
Yes.
goes. Goes
No,
so fast.
I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Yes, blessings. Take care, Jamal. All the best at your show on Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you all so much for listening tonight on Love Bay Radio. Right here, we bring you the best in Afrobeats music and music from across the African diaspora, from all of our beautiful Black brothers and sisters. Jamal was with us today, and also his PR management, Ooh La La Entertainment. Thank you so much for helping us arrange this. Shout out to TYB and DJ Jan for this opportunity, and I'll see you next time. Peace and blessings.